Authorities have identified the suspected shooter in the incredibly tragic Las Vegas shooting that just occurred. His name is Stephen Paddock, and he is a 64-year-old white male with no prior criminal history. Let's go to graphic 16, please. Paddock was a resident of Mesquite, Nevada, where he lived in a retirement home. His neighbors describe him as an individual who kept to himself. In some instances, someone who wasn't necessarily polite or friendly in any way, but didn't do anything that really stood out. He just wanted to keep to himself. He also had a longtime live-in girlfriend who was out of the country at the time of the shooting. However, authorities have said that they have gotten in touch with her and are now questioning her as a person of interest. All right, so the Las Vegas police undersheriff says the following: all of the checks that we have been able to do other than a routine traffic violation here in Nevada and nationwide, working with our local FBI partners, have been able to find no derogatory history on that individual. Also, there is something that does stand out when it comes to his behavior. It's not criminal, but it is a little cause for concern. Authorities were aware of him because of the fact that he would gamble, and he would gamble quite a bit. On multiple occasions, Paddock gambled more than $10,000 per day, and in some cases amounts greater than $20,000 and $30,000 at Las Vegas casinos. Now, the reports currently indicate that it is unclear whether those were wins or losses, but his brother indicates that he would call him randomly and say, hey, I won $250,000. Now, the press managed to talk to his brother Eric and get some statements from him, and I want to share those statements with you. Let's take a look.
He's never, he's never even drawn his gun. It makes no sense. He's never hit anybody. He's never
gun enthusiast, or just
never
a few?
Well, he had a couple of handguns, I think. He had a safe with a couple of handguns. He might have had one long rifle, but he didn't have any. He had no automatic weapons that I knew of at any time. There's no. It just makes no sense.
Yeah, I disagree. So first of all, it's just a couple of handguns and a long rifle. He's not even a gun guy. He's not a gun enthusiast. So at a minimum, that's 3 weapons right there. Why do you need 3 weapons? You're going to shoot a deer and a duck at the same time, and you're going to use a rifle and then blast them away. And what do you need all those guns for? And now, of course, it turns out, and I'm not blaming his brother. His brother has got nothing to do with it. But it turns out, no, he had actually 30 weapons. Yeah, that's a gun enthusiast. And like we talk about often, is every gun owner guilty? Of course not, right? There are folks here that own guns. Now, if you have 30 weapons, are you looking forward to using them? Unfortunately, the answer is usually yes. That doesn't mean that you're gonna do mass shootings. Ooh, you're itching to use that gun though. Can't wait to use it. And here he is, and he wound up using it. So he's shocked. I'm not shocked. If you know someone that has a lot of weapons, and yes, 3 is already a lot, even if that's all he knew about. It sounds like he knew that there was a little bit more. Again, I'm not blaming his brother. I'm just stating the facts of this case, okay? You know what, that's a lot of guns. You should be concerned, because people with a lot of guns are jonesing to figure out how to use them. So you could say, no, my God, that's so discriminatory. By the way, the guys who say that's discriminatory will blame 1.6 billion Muslims for the actions of a couple of Muslims. The statistics are irrelevant, facts are irrelevant. So don't pretend that you're not looking to profile people, okay? Now, if you're looking to profile people, of course, males are the #1 category you should look at. Almost always the shooter is a male, almost always. I don't think profiling is the right thing to do under those circumstances based on race, religion, or even gender. But if you're looking at shooters, they're males, they're almost always males, okay? So you look at gamblers, Jesus, man, that's the first story I've ever heard of a gambler shooting. It doesn't mean that there aren't other gamblers who've done shootings, but what are we gonna profile all gamblers? No, profiling billions of people to try to find 1 or 2 or 10 people among billions. If you don't understand why that's maniacal and incredibly stupid, you don't understand math at all, okay? Now, but on the other hand, who is likely to do a mass shooting? Well, if you've got a gun, at least you're capable. So you have the ability to do a mass shooting. Are we narrowing it down? Unfortunately, in the US, not by much, because there's 89 guns for every 100 people in America, and we're all armed to the teeth. I just don't want you pretending to be surprised. There'll be a mass shooting tomorrow. There'll be a mass shooting the day after. And
those are mass shootings that probably won't make news because, these shooters up the ante. There are these giant mass shootings where now, the death toll with this particular one has already reached 59. And so when there's a mass shooting where 10 people get killed, is it gonna break headlines? Is it gonna be a breaking news story that people cover? No, these shootings happen on a regular basis. And it's impossible to cover every single one of them because they happen so often.
Well, to be fair though, there's a lot of those mass hangings and mass knifings, right? No, actually there's no mass hangings. And once a decade, there'll be a mass knifing and 2 people will get knifed and people will be like, see, it could happen, theoretically it could happen. But there's a mass shooting on average about every single day in America. 4 people being shot is a mass shooting. So tomorrow there'll be one probably with 6 people, and the day after 8 and 12, and those won't even get reported because we're so used to, a dozen people murdered. No big deal, you gotta get to these kind of numbers, 59 dead, 500 injured, for people to go, I guess that one, wow, that one was a bad one.
I just also want to already preemptively respond to what I know is gonna be the criticism to any remarks that are made on the show in regard to this story. The issue that people have with so-called politicizing a mass shooting like this. Okay, well those are also the same people who literally cannot wait to politicize a story involving someone in Europe who runs over a crowd of people, right? Before you even ID the individual, it's already, we gotta ban Muslims from coming to the country. Trump's Muslim ban is a good idea. Trump himself does that. But today, when Sarah Huckabee Sanders was asked during a press conference, and of course that's the White House press secretary, whether or not there will be any attempt at bipartisan legislation to do something to prevent this from happening in the future, guess what she said? We don't want to deal with this today. Maybe in a couple of days, they don't want to politicize it.
Okay, great. Okay. You got a deal. So you don't want to deal with a mass shooting that happened today. You want to give it 24 hours. Well, there was a mass shooting yesterday. So let's deal with it today. There was a mass shooting the day before. So let's deal with it today. There's been a mass shooting almost every single day of the year. There's been 273 mass shootings and there's been 275 days this year. So, okay, just pick one. Pick any of them and let's talk about it now. You see, you never want to talk about it. You never ever want to talk about it because Sarah Huckabee Sanders, you're part of the corruption. Donald Trump, you're part of the corruption. You guys take money from gun manufacturers and are okay with Americans dying because of it, because you profit from it. Hey, I got a campaign donation from the NRA. So if the people get murdered, what do I care? Why don't you just say that and be honest about it? You're willing to politicize every issue in every way. Did somebody take a knee? What was there? Were they standing? Were they sitting? You're willing to politicize that to the hilt, and you're not willing to talk about what is politics. Politics is hopefully not about games and winning and losing and how many Democrats or Republicans there are. And I get criticized by Democrats all the time. You're not on Team Democrat. Goddamn right I'm not, okay? If the Democrat is on our team, then I'm happy to support him. If he's not, I'm not gonna support a Democrat that's corrupt just because he's a D on his team, on his helmet. That's not what we're doing here. What we care about is policy, and policy matters because we don't want people getting killed. We don't want a massacre in Las Vegas or anywhere else where dozens get murdered, hundreds get injured. So what do you need to do? You need to do politics to get to policy. When somebody says don't do politics or don't politicize it, what they mean is don't take any action because I get bribed by these guys who profit off your death. If you like this clip of the Young Turks, there's a whole live 2-hour show, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern every day, and you can download it or stream it and watch it without ads if you become a member. tytnetwork.com/join.